front of the mat. Step back alternately with the right and left legs. Make sure your weight shifts into your back foot. Now hold your position with the right leg back and begin swinging your arm to release tension in the shoulder. This is a treatment for frozen shoulders. And now step the left leg back and do the same. Good, circling the arms one way and then the other, let it swing. Yes, and then come to the front of the mat. Good, now begin to bend at the knee joint and at the hips using your legs to create a bouncing action, primarily moving from your legs. Good, inhale, reach up, exhale, fold. Inhale up, exhale, fold. Inhale up, exhale, fold. Continue with the bouncing motion, leading the movement with your legs, leading it with your legs. Good, now fold forward, extend the spine, bend the knees as much as you need to do that. Slowly walk your feet back. Inhale and exhale in down dog. Get length in the spine. Walk your hands back to your feet, sit way back. Hips go way back, knees are bent, reach forward. You can round your spine here, let your chin hang. Inhale and rise. Exhale, fold. Walk the hands forward and come into plank pose. Hold your plank pose with form just as good as your mountain pose. Go back to down dog. Nice long spine, broad shoulders. Walk the feet up just like you would normally walk. Bend the knees to keep the hands down. Reach up, inhale. Come to heart center. Good, step the right leg back again. Fold forward at the hips with a nice long spine, working the shoulder blades down the back, working strength in the back. The front leg can be bent. Now it's engage your core and inhale, flat back. So it's exhale, cat, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat, and then bend and release and extend. Bend and release and extend. Bend and release and extend. Again. Good, extend your stance. And again, lengthen the spine, working the muscles in the back, and try the move again. This time the back heel might not be on the floor. Get extension in the spine. Good, plant that back foot and rise up. And now you're rocking horse, shifting your weight between the front and the back leg. Let the movement be fluid. And now hold your position and then step forward. Other side, same moves on the other side. First thing, hinge forward at the hips, nice flat back, long spine. Do your cat and cow. Exhale, cat, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat, inhale, cow. Drawing the shoulder blades down. Now begin bending and straightening. You're trying to release tension and then engage again. So release and engage. You're practicing releasing tension in the position. Good. Widen your stance. Try the movement again. The back heel does not have to be on the floor in the wider stance, although it may be on the floor. Good. And now set your foot down and rise up. And again, it's rocking horse. Rocking horse, you're practicing shifting the weight between the front and the back with a fluid movement. Be aware of what your hips are doing. Your hips should be square with the front with all these movements. And then step that leg forward. Good, here you go. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold. Walk the feet carefully back into your down dog position. Hold your down dog with an extended spine. So you're not rounding the back. You're getting length front, back, evenly on the sides as well. Walk the hands back and sit back into the squat. You can round the back and tuck the chin. Get stretch in the back body. Inhale and rise. Exhale, fold. Walk the hands forward to your plank again. Good, hold your plank. Good mountain pose. Bring your knees down. You're on all fours. Again, it's cow and then cat. Notice the spine movement is gradual. I'm not going into my deepest cow position, nor am I humping my back as much as I can in the cat. You want a nice gradual movement in the spine. And now come to the flat back. Oh, and this is serratus puffs. I'm moving my shoulder blades around my rib cage here. Notice my arms aren't bending and my spine really isn't changing. It's just my shoulder blades that are changing. Good, now I'm moving my hips separate from the rest of my body. So again, my hips are moving, but the rest of my back is staying as stable as I can hold it. Of course, it moves a little bit with this movement. And then now I'm opening up to the side. Notice the correction I made there where my knee doesn't go straight out to the side. It's a little bit behind my hip, not in front of it. And I'm really engaging in to feel connection in the glute medius muscle in this movement. I'm holding it up so I can feel the connection of the move. I'm stabilizing with my core, so my hips don't actually move, just the leg. And now this is a challenge. If you want to try it, it's just a straight leg with the same move. It just adds weight by increasing the lever arm. Now I'm pulsing. Again, that adds weight. You only want to do this if you're stable in the other move. So you could do the same move without extending the leg. You could do the pulsing action with a bent knee. It's a real small move with lots of control and controlling the core as well. Good. Knees are wide, big toes together, extend. This is puppy pose. In this pose, I'm not collapsing though. Sometimes puppy pose is done with an arch in the back, but I don't have one here. I'm trying to hold my back as stable as I can. And I'm moving my shoulder blades up and down the back. It's called scapular glide. And now I'm moving into thread the needle. And then switching sides, thread the needle is a really good release for tension in the center of the back. Lifting up into down dog, lengthening the spine. The weight is evenly distributed. Now I'm doing scapular glide in down dog, which is sometimes harder than doing it in puppy pose, but both have advantages. You're trying to move your shoulder blades up and down your back. You can do it. At first it's challenging. Don't give up. You will be able to learn to do this. And then take the right leg up without lifting the hip. Now open up. Keep your core engaged. Now bend the knee, still core is engaged. I'm not doing a back bend. And coming back to three-legged dog and back down. Same thing on the other side. So notice I'm just in down dog split. I didn't change anything. I didn't open the hip. Now I did open, but I didn't arch the back. Now I bent the knee. And I moved the lower leg hip to help open the upper hip. And then bring it down. And now I'm going to slowly walk gracefully as I can up to the front of the mat. And then press into the feet. Inhale and rise up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Step back. Prepare for warrior two. Adjust your foot as needed. Plant the back foot. Come up. Hips are open. This is an open hip pose. Extend the arms. Good. Holding the doorknobs, we're turning them in and out at the shoulder. and sink down and in. Extend up, sink down and in, stretching the bottom part of the leg as you do that. Stretch, sink down. Do it again. Good. Extended side angle. Goalpost your left arm and move at the shoulder joint. Say hi to Josie. Now thumbs up and then flat. This is a making of the armpit. So you do the Fonzie thumb and you make the armpit. Come up, do reverse the movement. So this is reverse warrior 2 and it's the same moves. So again, it's thumbs up. Relax the shoulders down the back. Then cartwheel the hands down. You can either use the block to do revolved lunge here. Notice my back heel's up now. Or go without the block. Leaning back just a little bit so that you can twist the spine and keep it long and extended. So extending from the tail to the crown of the head. Bring the knee down and then go into your modified side plank. Oh, here's my doggy. Aww, she came into the picture. She wanted to be part of it. And then we're going to go onto all fours. And then we're swimming now, so we're doing arm circles. I like to do them slowly with a lot of control. If it's difficult for you to keep your form, then you want to modify the movement of the arm. So what you're trying to do is keep your spine stable. Now, same thing when you're reaching forward. I'm actually working quite hard. I know it doesn't look like it, but I'm using the muscles of my back. And I'm also petting my fluffy dog. Okay. Yeah. Oh, she thinks I want to play. Okay. Change of scene. And bringing the arms around, circling. See how I go slowly on my left side where I hit the part where I have a decreased range of motion. And now I'm taking the arms up in front and I'm using the back of my arms and my core muscles and the muscles in my mid-back to stabilize. I'm really lifting my arms as high as I can. Now going up into down dog and fluidly walking the feet forward. Press into the earth, inhale and rise. Exhale and check in. Again, lifting the arms, inhale and fold. Walk the feet back. Come to the plank position. Go back to down dog. Walk the feet forward again. Again, fold forward. Open up into warrior 2. I'm turning like I'm turning doorknobs, turning my shoulders in external rotation and internal rotation. It's from the shoulder joint. Go into extended side angle and when I do the thumbs up, again, I'm making an armpit. Practicing sinking into warrior 2 by extending the inner legs rather than shifting my shoulders forward. And then reverse warrior 2, and again, making the armpit on that side. Cartwheel the arm around. It's revolved Lunge pose, you can either use the block or not. This is modified side plank. Take the arm around, bring the leg down, and again, circling the arms. Again, being very mindful, very aware, moving slowly. When you take the arm forward and up, notice my spine does not change at all. I'm stabilizing it with the muscles that hug around it. My head doesn't drop. My head's in line with the rest of my back. I'm coming into my knees down plank. Notice my chest is open, my spine's aligned. Doing push-ups to strengthen the arms. The rotator cuff is stabilizing in that position. And then now I'm doing what's called turbo dog, bending at the elbow joint, dropping the elbows towards the floor. Again, my push-ups. And again, turbo dog. And then come into plank. And now I'm doing the push-ups in full plank. This is optional, of course. Being mindful, see how my head wants to drop as I lower. So being mindful to try to keep the head in line with the rest of the back. And now dropping into a full dolphin and back up again. Again, this is optional. Turbo dog is always an option here. I'm holding dolphin with awareness of my alignment. It strengthens your back. It's so good for you. And now I'm doing serratus puffs with my forearm down. My scapula are sliding around the rib cage. It's scapular protraction and retraction. The neck is relaxed. I'm not using my upper triceps. And now I'm coming down onto the mat. Cobra. Hands, if they're on the floor, drag them back so that you feel the triceps engage. You feel the muscles in the base of the shoulder blade region engaging. Pull up on the belly. The glutes are active. The legs are heavy. And then rest. And when you do this move, you're working your glute by having your knee bent. It's forcing the glute to fire. The hamstring wants to help. See how my foot is kind of floating out of 90 degrees? The closer you keep it to 90 degrees, the better it will be for your glute. I'm trying to keep both hip points on the floor, lots of control. Switching to the other side, same thing. Really just working the glute, being very mindful of that muscle group. And now this pose is called locust pose. Using the glute by kicking, I'm really activating the lower body. It's a wonderful sensation. Sometimes I call this Aquaman. Now opening and closing the legs with the feet flexed. I'm really using a lot of other muscles now along with the glutes and hamstrings. Inner legs, outer hips. And then, side to side, that's a really good one. If you have low back issues or SI joint issues, you want to work up to this. You don't want to do this at first. You want to wait till you feel very strong and solid in the other ones. Add this very carefully to your routine. So you might try it a few times when you feel you're strong in the others and see how your body reacts. And I'm back up and down dog again. And now, good, working scapular glide. So trying to slide my shoulder blades along my rib cage towards my hands and then back towards my hips. Doing the movement without using my traps, or not the upper traps. And now I'm in rotation, This is a wonderful lat stretch. It's one of my very favorite poses. I call this needle dog. And then the other one, another needle dog. Wonderful, wonderful sensation in this pose. Feels so good. Bringing the knees down. Crossing the legs, transitioning to my back. And taking the block. Now in this is going to be ab work. Ab work is so important to stabilizing your shoulder girdle. And in this, I'm twisting. And so I'm getting the external oblique muscles that wrap over my ribs. Those are very important to stabilizing my rib cage. So as I twist to the left, my hips go right. The movement, the way I'm doing it, I could probably have better form. So when I come up, see how my feet are over my chest? Probably be better or harder if my heels were right over my hips, if I wasn't letting them come in at all. But I'm lifting my tail and my shoulders and then twisting. When I twist, I am not dropping my shoulder on the direction I'm twisting towards. A lot of people, when they do obliques, when they twist right, they drop the right shoulder blade. I want you to keep both lifted, both left and right. It's harder, but you'll love it. Good. And now taking the block away. I believe what I'm going to do here is internal, yeah. Okay, so I'm doing internal rotation. So I'm going up into the pose and I'm turning my legs in. And this feels really good, especially if you have issues with hip flexibility. Because what we're doing is by doing rotation, we're going to strengthen and improve flexibility at the hip crease. It's a really powerful move. I'm just really turning them in at the hips. And I'm working it. I'm working on it. Mindful to do a good job, a thorough job. And now here it looks like I'm turning them out as well. So let's see, I'm turning them in, turning them out, turning them in, turning them out, turning them in, turning them out, in and back down. And this will really increase your range of motion at your hip and help you so much if you're flexible here with SI joint issues, if you have those, or with low back issues, because where you really want to move in your movements is from the hip. You don't want to move from your SI joint. That's not where. You don't want to move from your low back. You don't want to move from your knees, right? It's those hips that choose the direction. All right, here, this thing's called the Thanksgiving turkey. I'm choosing to have my feet really low. You don't need to. So you're starting with your knees right over your hips, extending your legs, and you don't have to bring them out low. I'm stabilizing my hips with my core as I bring them out. When I do it, I'm hugging in tight to core. Okay, now kicking. This is a little bit harder. It feels amazing. I love it. A little break. Take it out. Love it. So if this bothers you, you're going to work your way up. So you don't want to irritate your low back by trying to do something you're not ready for. People will ask me, should I press my low back down into the floor? Well, you don't need to. All you need to do is stabilize it in neutral. There might be some people that it feels better to press it in. If you're one of those people, hey, do it. Putting your hands under your hips is a way of cheating. So I'd rather see you strengthen yourself with smaller moves until you're able to do it without that. These moves are all really great. Really great. Strengthening the low back the low abs has stabilized my pelvis and stabilized my low back, where I tend to have a lot of hypermobility. So here I'm working gently on hip mobility. So first I did internal and external rotation at the hip, and now I'm doing circles. I'm doing them without moving my pelvis. So I'm completely stable with the left foot on the floor as I'm doing these different moves. And this one's one of my favorites. I open, and then when I straighten the left leg, I crossing the midline there. And I'm doing it with a stable pelvis. I'm not letting my hips wobble at all. And that's where the strengthening comes in. And the movement increases your range of motion to, like I said before, protect the areas that aren't meant to move when you change direction. All right, so here I am doing the other leg. So it's rotation in and out first, and now it's circling. And the other way. And really, these kinds of moves help so much. When we start to rely on other areas for our movement, we aggravate our body. But if we rely on the head of the femur moving in the socket to change directions and to do our movements, then the rest of our body is happy and is glad. It's grateful for that. I just really love this move. Feels so good to me. And then I'm going to bring that down. Okay, so we're getting close to the end. I'm doing pelvic tuck and tilt here without moving my ribs. So my hands are on my rib cage. Now I'm doing it without moving my ribs, and my hands are stabilizing my legs. So the movement in my pelvis is not moving my legs. Now I'm doing it with one leg out, and that leg, my pelvis is tucked, and so you can see my leg does not go to the floor. And now I'm trying to do the move just to try to feel in there. Pelvic tuck and tilt. Oh, actually, it's not tuck and tilt. I'm in a tuck, and then I'm using my core to lift the leg. So I'm tucking even more. So I'm in a tuck, and then I'm pulling in my deep core when I do that. All right, this is windshield wipers. It's a half, I call it a half windshield wiper. And I usually say, like, when your car gets snow on it and it can't wipe the whole window. And I'm not letting the pelvis move. It's just the head of my femur. Feels really good. Supine twist. I'm supporting that leg for a very good reason. And I've got the hand under the leg. So you can't see it, but the left hand is under my right knee. And then I'm hugging the core. Hugging the core 3 times with an exhale. Coming through center, switching to the other side. Extend the left leg. Sorry, right leg. Left leg comes around. Stabilizing. Hugging the core. Really feeling the muscles support the spine. So you're trying to teach your body something here. You're turning, but you want to stabilize the spine. You want to keep the spine coming right out of the center of the hips. Okay, and now this is figure 4. There's a couple different ways you can do figure 4. If you let your tail come off the mat, that feels like a big stretch. It feels good. You can also do it with the sacrum flat on the mat, and that will feel slightly different, and both are good. Now the other side. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making this. Here's Happy Baby. Notice in Happy Baby that I'm opening my hips, and that's the important part of the move. It doesn't matter where my hands reach. Do they reach my thighs, my ankles, my feet? That part isn't the important part. It's the hip opening. So meaning that the knees are wide and you're directing your knees towards the floor. Shavasana, so nice. Give yourself 5 minutes at the minimum here. Long, steady breaths. And you can relax your body. Make sure you give yourself this time. Remember, you are loving and lovable, and I thank you for coming.